don't miss the all-new Mighty Morphin Power Rangers.
Starting Monday here on Fox.
August 28th, 1993. Out of the shadows of former juggernauts Barney the Dinosaur and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles rose the phenomenon known as the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. With its mixture of teenage angst, colorful costumes, and giant robots fighting rubber-suited monsters, the show immediately grabbed the attention of its target audience.
The first time I experienced Power Rangers, I was back in '93. I'm 5 years old, and I have two older brothers. And we watched the very first episode, Day of the Dumpster. And we loved the show so much. After school, we'd come home, rush home, watch it.
I got it on a VHS from Blockbuster. It was the first episode. I loved it. It was just so, and I know because it is based off a Japanese TV show, it was so foreign. I'd never seen anything like it. It was so well crafted, and there was so much energy. You wanted to root for these guys, and you had no idea who the heck they were. You could tell, they went back to being normal teenagers and all that. It was just bizarre to me. It was fun. It was energetic. It reminded me of Star Wars.
October 5th, 1993. With Power Rangers mania just starting to heat up, fans were introduced to quite possibly the most iconic Ranger of all time.
Then, of course, Jason David Frank came on as the Sixth Ranger, and I was absolutely in love with Power Rangers.
Thank you for coming today, guys.
I was only hired for 14 episodes, and I was happy with it. I needed structure. I look at the lights, I look at all this stuff, and I was like, man, I get to be someone who maybe I'm not in real life. I got structure. I came from a hard life. I didn't have money growing up as a kid. I lived in a mobile home, lived in a trailer, had to go to the restroom in an outhouse. It was like, I'm happy.
So as the character, he was a fan favorite. Always was, always will be. He was the first ever Sixth Ranger, and he had the coolest powers. He had a great story arc.
It was the evil Green Ranger that turned good. It taught people you can be good. That's what I have people say, hey man, I was a bad kid and you taught me how to be better.
By Christmas 1993, Ranger Mania was running wild. Here in East Tennessee, before Santa came down the chimney, the Red and Pink Rangers made their way to Johnston City to be part of the Christmas parade, and Power Rangers had become the must-buy toy for that holiday season. And the next one. And the next one.
But this is the flip head right here. All these cool things.
And I remember it was the action figures that had the flip heads. So you'd press a button and the helmet flipped up, and then you'd press it again, then the regular head would flip up. And I love those.
There's so much, and you have to add on, and you can't just get one, you got to get all of them.
We could buy a lot more of the White Tigers, or we could sell every one we could get our hands on.
The best we can do now is keep all the factories going 24 hours a day, and of course we're doing that.
This was only one per person?
Yeah.
Why do you think mothers across the country are giving in?
Because our children beat us into it.
That statement was metaphorical, of course, but unfortunately, some children who were watching the program at home were emulating what they saw on television inside the classroom.
They were trying karate kicks, pretending they had swords. They would pick up sticks or things from the playground and make the sound effects that the Power Rangers were making, and children were getting hurt.
Schools nationwide were banning Power Rangers, even here at home at Ball Camp Primary School.
We're molding these children into citizens for our world, and so we want them to learn acts of kindness instead of violence.
For the proponents of the teenagers with attitude, there was a simple solution.
If the parents do object to the violent issue, then their final responsibility is click, turn off the TV set.
It turns out, not a lot of parents were turning off their TVs, as Power Rangers' popularity was flying higher than ever before.
We do, in fact, have several children who think that the color pink is called Kimberly.
We were the #1 kid show in the world before all the social media and all that. We did it the old-fashioned way, with typewriters and fax machines, and I had to fly to New York to do Kathleen and Regis, and it was overwhelming.
I like to say, it's morphin' time.
Jason David Frank was supposed to exit the show near the end of the first season, but like they say, you can't keep a good Ranger down.
When I left as the Green Ranger, I did my own show called Cybertron, which was VR Troopers. When they introduced the new White Ranger, kids were calling the station saying, we want the Green Ranger back. We want Tommy, we want Jason back, we want him back.
Fans loved his character so much, he came back as a White Ranger.
From green to white to red and red again, the character of Tommy was a mainstay in the cast until midway through the show's 5th season.
It's like, wake up, go to school, and start to fall asleep. Yes.
As was Adam, played by co-star Yong Bosch, who had a difficult time transitioning after his time as a Ranger was over.
You know, I started off on Power Rangers, you know, so I was on camera, and then it was hard for me to get a job after that because I'm half Asian, so there weren't a lot of, roles aren't really written for a half Asian, you know, so I didn't really fit anything that I went and auditioned for. So I struggled a bit, and fortunately for me, I was able to stumble into voiceover, which then it was like, it doesn't matter what I look like. You know, then I could continue to act, and then it actually opened up my opportunities quite a bit.
Aside from voice acting, Bosch began focusing on a music career and created the band I Shine. This newfound creative outlet gave him a new way to relate to his fans.
Bruce Lee says, you know, it's the expression of yourself, you know, I just like to be able to create. I like to relate to people, you know, and that's, you know, through music I can definitely do that because that's more of me, but through the characters as well, you know.
A mainstay on the convention circuit, Johnny now has well over 300 acting credits to his name, including a couple appearances in later Power Rangers seasons. Most recently, he was in the 15th anniversary two-parter Once a Ranger, alongside Mercury Ranger Dwayne Cameron.
It's really crazy because when I did this episode, which a lot of fans love, called Once a Ranger, Always a Ranger. And it had like Johnny on Bosch was in it, who's OG, Mighty Morphin, and he was 15 years deep in the franchise when we shot that. So now I'm 15 years deep in the franchise. So it's this whole full circle where now it's been going for 30 years. It's the 30th anniversary. And I was in the show right in the middle of it, literally in the 15-year anniversary. So I definitely feel that being a part of that full circle journey of meeting the OGs, working with them, and then now I'm not quite OG, but somewhere in between new and old school. I'm somewhere in the middle.
Cameron was part of Power Rangers Operation Overdrive and smack dab in the middle of the Disney era, which is known for making a bang.
So Disney's known for its explosions, like it's Michael Bay explosions. And we were told that. They said, look, they love blowing stuff up, so just be aware of that. And I was like, oh yeah, it's fine. And then we did this really big shot one day where they said, look, we're gonna just do this massive explosion behind you. And you know, you gotta sell it, like, you know, oh, like jump off your feet. And we didn't know they were like filling 44-gallon drums with gasoline and like putting detonators in them. And so when that thing went off, I mean, you can't see the hall here, but it was like a 100-foot high fireball. We didn't jump off our feet. We were kind of blowing off our feet. And the back of my hair was like kind of, like not singed, but it was hot, you know. So that memory literally was burnt into me.
Okay, your girlfriend's here to get a book signed. I thought I'd just do a video for you, man. So this is for you, Michael, and all the best, and it's Morphin time.
With a career consisting of multiple Ranger forms and seasons, Jason David Frank has the most appearances of any individual Ranger with over 250. His appearances in later shows even returned some lapsed fans into the franchise.
Tommy Oliver, Dino Thunder. I was like, Tommy's back, I gotta watch it. And to see him start off as a Zordon character and then go back into a Ranger, I was like, you can't do anything better than that.
Dino Thunder, that was my favorite one because that also harkened back to the original series. And by that time I was old enough that my mother was like, okay, whatever, I'm not gonna say anything, you know?
For JDF, it was his loyalty to his fans that kept him coming back.
Now, why is Tommy Oliver the longest existing Ranger? He's done the most episodes because I truly, passionately cared about the show. I didn't care about money. I was like, you're gonna do it? Yep, I'll do the episode. For my fans, just for my fans to see, oh, I saw you come back. This is awesome. And then as it got more and more, I said, man, I gotta give my fans more.
And I met him the first time when he was here in 2019. And I remember he was at his little booth and there was a massive line. And he got up, walked all the way down the line and came back and said, listen, guys, I'm sorry, I gotta do a Q&A. But my manager here is gonna give you a number and you go do whatever you want to do whatever you need to do, and when you come back, if you have a number, you go ahead to the head of the line. And I thought, this man loves his fans.
I just take time for people, and that's the reason why I think I grew such a big fan base. I'm just here to make people happy, but they make me happy, and that's the reason why I can do this to the last fan standing. People don't understand what that means. I've signed 13 hours straight before. When you drive by the shop and you're like, oh, he's done, I'm not done. We're still on a ticket number. And I don't like to rush it because even 6-foot distancing, we can feel each other. You know, you take 2 guitars and you strum them, and on Instagram or television, you can't feel it. But in real life, you could feel that energy.
After I met him the first time, I was like, you know what? I'm actually gonna get a tattoo to honor this man, because he's an awesome guy, loved him. And the second time I met him at Tall Man Comics, he signed the arm.
I'm a fan of it. I'll never down it. Power Rangers is my life. It was something that people said, aren't you afraid to get stereotyped? And I said, no. Who else can be a hero? But to me, my fans are my hero, because without them, I wouldn't be here.
Sadly, Jason David Frank passed away in November of 2022, but his legacy lives on through his fans and his Power Rangers family.
We looked up to people like JDF, and now I'm one of the 6 Rangers, and then so if I meet new 6 Rangers, I'll chat to them. So there's that stuff that you kind of like passing the baton, you know, so to speak. So yeah, I'm always encouraging new actors and new Power Rangers, yeah.
With Power Rangers lasting for 3 decades, there's a reason fans keep coming back.
I think it's just the fact that it's able to redo itself over and over and over. Each series is different, and each series can appeal to a different part of the population. I think that's its ability just to reinvent itself over and over, and to play on that theme of learning, getting better, growing up, you know, learning lessons. Not all those episodes ended happily. You know, they learned lessons sometimes. I think there's something timeless about that.
But I mean, like, look at Doctor Who, look at Star Trek. You know, this could be, I'm sure we'll actually be here in 100 years' time. You know, I think Power Rangers was meant to run for 3 years, and now it's 30. So, who knows?
It reminds me of my childhood. It reminds me of fun. It's relaxing. It's funny.
A show about saving the world. What could be better than that?